When you hear that Buster H.R. Oh, man, it's about to go down. You feel the tension in the air. Wrestling fans all over the world, get ready for this right here. They're gonna have a field day with this one. You're about to witness Buster Unmasked! Oh, Lord! Oh, Lord! There's no telling what Buster's gonna say today. We just getting started. Just getting started! Welcome to Buster Unmasked! Hosted by Buster H.R. Johnson. This is a Buster H.R. exclusive. We are now tuned in to Buster Unmasked. We are now tuned in to Buster Unmasked. You are now tuned in to Buster Unmasked. We are now tuned in to Buster Unmasked. Welcome to Buster Unmasked! Welcome to Buster Unmasked! Buster Unmasked!
All right, y'all, we're here. We're live. You're watching Buster Unmasked, and we have got an awesome show for you guys here today. It's all about 901 Wrestling, and we got a huge announcement coming out of 901 Wrestling, and you're going to hear about it right here today. But before we get to that, you know I got to plug my sponsors. Let me do that, and then we're going to get this show underway, guys. For all of your breaking news, sports, and weather in and around the Jackson, Tennessee, and the West Tennessee area, be sure to tune in to 101.5 FM or 103.5 FM. You can also log in to talkinwesttennessee.com. That's TALKNWESTTN.com or newstalk1035.com. For all of your in-home care and consumer direct services in and around the Caruthersville, Missouri area, be sure to call Glowing Hearts at 573-643-2537. Their priority is caring for you and your family. Be sure to check out the Boot Hill Sports Network on YouTube for all of your sports news and live local games in and around the Missouri Boot Hill. That's BOOTHEEL. That's the Boot Hill Sports Network on YouTube. The Boot Hill Sports Network is also the home of American Hostile Championship Wrestling and the Unified Wrestling Alliance every single Saturday morning at 11 a.m. on YouTube. Professional wrestling just the way you like it. Since we've been here, I don't know what's going on with the internet. I don't know if y'all heard it, but I did. The music kind of stopped for a minute. Something's going on with the internet. Hopefully we don't have any issues. First of all, I want to thank Jake Hudson for a $2.50 donation. I appreciate you, Jake. This is actually from the last podcast I did. It did not pop up until the show was over, but Jake, I appreciate you so much. It means the world to me, man. Greg James is already with us. Greg, what's going on, dude? Good show. And let me just say this, guys. My guest tonight is the brains behind the brawn of 901 Wrestling. And when you want info, you do not go and talk to the horse's ass. You go straight and talk to the horse's mouth. And tonight, I'm bringing you the horse's mouth. Mr. 901 himself. None other than Tommy Jacks. Tommy.
What's going on, Buster? What an intro. Thank you, pal.
Dude, man, I am so anxious for this show. I've been dying dying to hear about this big announcement. I've had some little snidbits. You've kind of gave me some teasers, man. But we're here to talk about 901 Wrestling and what's fixing to happen with it. So, Tommy, we got a lot to talk about tonight. There's a lot of talent I want to talk about at 901. But let's lay it out there for the people. Let's break this upcoming news, dude.
You don't want to tease them and wait until the end. You want to just give it to them.
Let's give it to them. We got plenty to talk about, dude.
All right. So here's the thing. It's no secret. I think everybody knows that Memphis is a wrestling town. Built into the DNA of this city, there's wrestling. One of the things that's always been a thing around this city, or at least it was until a few years back, was wrestling on Saturday mornings. Well, we've heard the fans and we've heard them all talk about it. Man, we wish that things was like this, and we wish we could have Saturday morning wrestling again, and this, that, and the other. Well, I'm here to tell you this. You've seen the announcement about December 13th, this coming Saturday Morning Live. Well, that's not the only thing we're doing concerning Saturday morning. See, we're going to let the fans let us know if that's the way they want to go, because kicking things off with New Year's Bang, the first premium event of the year, January 4th at Minglewood Hall, right after that, the entire month of January, we're doing Saturday Morning Live. That's right, the entire month of January leading all the way up to February's premium event at Minglewood Hall, Love and War. And what we're going to do is we're going to let the fans experience Saturday morning wrestling live and show us by showing up if we need to find a permanent home for Saturday Morning Live. And if so, that's what we're going to do.
Man, that's really a cool thing. So let me ask you this right off the bat. What kind of setup for Saturday Morning Live? Is this going to be studio style or what? What are we looking at here, man? What can the fans expect, Tommy?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked, because everybody knows that once a month we've been at the big main hall of Minglewood Hall. We absolutely love it there, and we're going to continue to do that each and every month, once a month. However, there's another space that what we're doing for January is utilizing inside Minglewood Hall. In fact, you won't even go into Minglewood Hall. There's a ramp on the right side. It's got its own entrance. It's at the front of Minglewood Hall, and it is just that. It's a studio setup. So what, yourself and I grew up with, we're going to be able to carry that forward and show people what that was like and let them experience live Saturday morning studio wrestling right here in Memphis.
Hey, and it says right there, tradition reborn, man. And that's really a cool thing. Like you said, I grew up on Saturday morning studio wrestling. You did. Pretty much anybody that's 35 years older grew up on Saturday morning studio wrestling. It's been a tradition in Memphis forever. And I think it's really cool that you guys are trying to bring this thing back. And what's even cooler, like you said, y'all are going to do it, and then the fans are going to get to decide whether this becomes a permanent thing for 901 Wrestling and wrestling in Memphis, Tennessee. Awesome stuff, Tommy.
Yeah, well, it's something that we've played around with the concept in the past, back when we were at Black Lodge. Everything worked really well there. The only issue there was scheduling more so than anything. Black Lodge, not really a place that's used to being open at any given time, and that's kind of early for Black Lodge. So at the time, we kind of floated it out there, did a few things, and ever since then, we constantly get messages. Hey, are you doing Saturday Morning Live again? Are you bringing Saturday Morning Live back? And then you hear from folks like you and I, who's like, hey, I wish there was Saturday morning wrestling again. So as opposed to just going, yes, this is what they want, we want the fans to do like they've always done. We say that 901 Wrestling is #your wrestling show. It's everyone's wrestling show. So if you want Saturday morning wrestling, all you have to do is show up the month of January to Saturday Morning Live, and we're going to find a permanent home for Saturday Morning Live and carry that thing out all year long.
That's an awesome thing, man. 901 seems to constantly be growing, Tommy. Every time I turn around, y'all are doing new stuff. You've been running a lot more outside of Minglewood Hall shows. Y'all hadn't just been sticking to the once a month thing at Minglewood. Y'all have been running a lot of shows, a lot more shows, adding shows to your schedule. Talk to me about that, Tommy. let's talk about the growth of 901 and adding these shows besides Minglewood.
Well, one of the things that we wanted to do was do shows outside of Minglewood to help awareness, right, of 901 wrestling. Because here's the thing, us that follow wrestling, we know where the wrestling's at. We know what's going on with wrestling. I mean, we almost can't help but to know it, right? We're inside our fandom bubble. But the thing about it is the average person still doesn't know that wrestling's a thing in this city. They just don't. They assume that it was gone long ago. And even the crowds that you see that we get, that's only the tip of the iceberg to once wrestling in the city becoming, again, a true thing. And we're going to try to do it with not only the outside shows, the Saturday Morning Live, but we're trying to just create awareness that wrestling is here in Memphis. 901 Wrestling's here to stay, and it's something that everybody can make a thing and come to.
Right. 901 Wrestling is alive and well, and it's really, man, y'all have an influx of talent too. Man, y'all have a lot of different talent that we're not used to from 901 Wrestling circulating in and out over the last probably, I'd say 6 months or so. Would that be right, Tommy?
Yeah, that's probably about right. Yeah, about the past 6 months or so. One of the things when we started 901 Wrestling, one of the things that I really wanted to try to accomplish, Memphis was always a place where you would see the talent come through before they made that next big leap.
That's right.
It was always that place. You'd see somebody pop up on Saturday morning TV. You'd see them for a couple of months, and their program would be finished. And next thing you know, bam! Oh wait, is that him on WWF Superstars? And it's always been this place. Well, when we started 901, I wanted to make sure that was something that we carried forward again. So what we've tried to do is all of these up and coming guys that are in Texas, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Kentucky, Ohio, California. We're trying to do exactly that again. Bring these folks through Memphis. Let folks see who these folks are. Next thing you know, you're going to be seeing these folks on your television set with the big boys. And that's kind of what we wanted to start when we started this whole thing. It was all about taking something that was done before here and just moving it forward. And that's just part of it too, is bringing in new talent.
And here's the thing, Memphis, Tennessee has always been, like you said, man, we've always had the guys before they were the stars. We had them here, they were stars for us, and then they went on and skyrocketed to national fame, worldwide fame even. So Memphis, Tennessee has a rich history of creating the future stars for the professional wrestling business all over the country and even the world. And I'll tell you this, 901, man, I've been keeping an eye as close as I can on some of you guys' talent. Obviously, we got Kevin Bless. Kevin Bless, am I mistaken, or is he not now the longest reigning 901 heavyweight champion in history?
Yeah, 901 champion, longest reigning in history. I think right now he's at day 514.
Man, that's a long reign right there. That's over 2 years, guys. Well, not quite. It's what is that, about 1 3/4 years?
Yeah, give or take. Yeah, it's definitely the previous record holder was Contar the Great, who had it just a little bit over a year, and now Kevin shattered that. Like I said, I think we're at day 514, 515, something like that.
Man, I'll tell you what, I've been keeping an eye on Kevin, and he's been facing a murderer's row of talent over the last several months. And I want to get to that, but I want to acknowledge some of these comments. I'm trying to get better at acknowledging people when they comment in. Right now, we got what is it, JMC Bang? He said, if you can make it in Memphis, you can make it anywhere. And that's always, Memphis has always been the litmus test to see if you could take it to the next level. They send you here, or you come through here, and then boom, before you know it, we're watching you on WWE, WWF, when it was NWW, TNA, NWA.
Well,
There's a lot of places out there for talent to go today.
yeah, and the thing about it is, and I feel like it's still true today. I think the reason that a lot of folks came through, and then once they came through, they kind of popped off, is because, again, Memphis has always had professional wrestling built into its DNA. And I say that a lot, but it's true. A city's built just like a person. There's things that build a city. Well, I mean, yeah, there's barbecue, there's blues and music, but wrestling's built into the DNA of the city. Well, the fans have seen a lot of wrestling throughout the years. They have seen some of the best do it. So if you can come through here and you can make these people feel something, you got something. You can definitely make it anywhere.
That's right, man. We got Joseph Earl Dawson, and he says Memphis, Tennessee is the wrestling capital. And I'll be honest with you, it's not right now, but it always has been, and I am waiting for it to become that again. We have the talent around this area. There's no doubt about that. We have the future stars around the Memphis Mid-South area. They're here already. My personal opinion is they just need the experience, and they need to be developed. That's the thing right there. These guys need to be developed. Sometimes these guys don't realize how good they really are. And that's the honest to God truth. I could probably name 5 guys right now, right off my hand, that young guys just breaking in the business a couple of years that are, man, far beyond what I was at 2 years in the business. I'll be honest with you. The talent's here. 901 is one of the very best proving grounds for talent around the Memphis Mid-South area. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. And, man, you guys are doing it big. Let's talk about Kevin Blessed and this murderer's row of talent. And these are big guys. Now, Kevin Blessed, he's not a small guy, but he's not a giant in the wrestling business. But let me just run. I'm just going to start with Brandon White, man. Back at, was it Roller Slam?
Yeah.
Man, Kevin Bless and Brandon White had one of the most hard-hitting matches that I've seen in a long time. Let's talk about that for a second, Tommy. Talk about Brandon White and Kevin Bless at Roller Slam, man.
Well, I mean, that's, if anybody's sleeping on Brandon White, then all you have to do is go to the 901 Wrestling YouTube, look at the playlist that says Brandon White. You're talking about every single time he steps in the ring, he's bringing it. Everybody that bought a ticket in whatever role that Brandon is in, they're getting their money's worth from Brandon White. When you put him in there versus somebody like Kevin Bless, he has that same mindset. They completely tore the house down. Sometimes when you make these matchups, you imagine kind of what it might be, and that exceeded expectations. I encourage anybody to check that out on the 901 Wrestling YouTube, Brandon White versus Kevin Bless. Definitely an instant classic in my mind.
Hey, I'll tell you this. I mean, you had this conversation. After I watched that match, I hit you up and I said, man, I didn't realize Kevin Bless was as talented of a striker as he is. Man, that dude was laying it into to Brandon, man. And I'm going to tell you something. Brandon's a large guy. If I'm not mistaken, Brandon's probably about 6'5", 6'6", maybe even a slightly taller than that. At that height, he probably goes right at 300 pounds, man. He is a big guy. And these two men went tooth and nail, and Kevin Bless did not back up 1 inch from Brandon. And that's a big task to overcome right there.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing throughout Kevin Bless's career. I mean, it's gotten a little bit more spotlight now because he has the 901 title, but he's always faced people that were bigger than him. Back in the days of South Perkins, when Kevin was there, I mean, he was going up against people like V-Man and Charles Ray and Bishop Cage, for crying out loud.
Right.
So, it's always been in him. to do that. It's just, once you have the top title in the territory, all the eyes are on you. So everybody's now just picking up on it.
David Arago, DJ Cash is with us. You got guys wanting to come work, man. He said, "What's up, Tommy Jacks? When we gonna do business, man?" Everybody seems to want to get into 901 wrestling right now, Tommy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's a great problem to have as somebody that's run the company, but it's also super hard to get everybody on a show, all at once. Everything on 901 Wrestling, at minimum, without going too much into the baseball or Kool-Aid of the thing, is usually planned out about 6 months in advance. So it's all about usually figuring out when we can get somebody in to get them going. But the inbox just in the past 3-4 months is busting at the seams,
Right.
from everywhere. And I'm talking everywhere, everywhere stateside. We've got people overseas, people in Canada, people in Mexico. There's some big names that honestly shocked me that want to really come in badly. And it's just about making it fit, making it work with schedules and stuff like that. But it's a great problem to have. And I feel like a lot of the reason is we've tried to create an environment not only for the fans to get the absolute best bang for their buck and to take them away for a couple hours, but we've tried to create an atmosphere for a professional wrestler to where all you have to do is show up when you're booked. It's that simple at 901 Wrestling.
Look, man,
and that word travels.
And like you said, that's a great problem to have. It's a great problem when you got more talent than you can actually use. And even more wanting to come in. Look, we got the current AHCW heavyweight champion, the silverback Big Joe Helms here with us. What's up, Joe? Merry Christmas to you too. Jay's back with us. He said, Kevin Blessed, hold on. Kevin Blessed, fist forged in the fires of South Perkins for sure. And here's something I want to touch on about Kevin Blessed, man. One thing I've noticed about this young man, the fans love him. Bad guy, good guy, they love him. Here's the thing. He don't have to goad them. He don't have to try to get them to like him. They just naturally do, man. When you watch a Kevin Bless match, he don't have to try to rile the crowd up and get them on his side. They just always seem to end up there with this young man. There's no doubt about that. Kevin Bless, man, he is a diamond in the rough around here. There's no doubt about that whatsoever.
And that's why I think, the true one of one is super fitting for him. There's nobody like him. There's nobody like him on a mic. There's nobody like him in the ring. There's nobody like him when it comes to interacting with the fans. And you're right, they just naturally gravitate towards Kevin, but that's because what you see with Kevin Bless is what you get. You're getting Kevin Bless every time he's on the microphone, every time he's fighting for that 901 title. You're getting every last bit of him. And I feel like people connect to that, and that's why they connect to him.
Right. Look, we got Roscoe Monroe, the Gentleman's Club, man. A lot going on with these guys. Giving 901
one half of your tag team champions.
There you go. Giving 901 Wrestling hell, Tommy. And we're going to talk about those guys too, because I want to talk about that new partner. New partner. But before we get there, let's run on down this Murderer's Row. Kevin Bless has defended his title against and came out on top. Braden Toon. You talk about one of the top wrestlers anywhere in the country. This guy can really get it done. He can kind of do it all. He can wrestle, he can fight, and he can fly, man. Braden Toon, one of the best in the country. And Kevin
I'm going to show you something. You mentioned Braden Toon's name. I don't know if you can see those.
There you go.
But maybe you can see the goosebumps.
Damn, you giving me goosebumps, Tommy.
That young man, super talented. I mean, make the hairs on my non-existent head right here stand up. But super talented. You're talking about a cat that's wrestled everywhere.
Right.
Canada, Mexico, everywhere in the United States, overseas. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's headed down to Mexico tour maybe here in the next couple of weeks. That was an incredible match too, and a little bit different of a situation. It was actually at one of our outside events at the Commerce Street Market in Hernando, and I've been super impressed with Braden Toon. Again, he's another one of these guys that comes into the 901 with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, gives the fans kind of a little bit of a hard time, but it doesn't take away from the man's talent at all. I just super impressive.
Yeah, Toon's actually one of the he's one of the most well-traveled, experienced guys out here on the indie scene right now. To be honest with you, it surprised me that Toon hadn't already gotten him a contract somewhere. I first seen Toon probably 2 years ago. He was part of New South Wrestling, and Premier Pro Wrestling and New South did this company versus company show. And that was the first time I got to see Braden Toon live. Man, that dude, off the charts, man. Off the charts.
Yeah, agreed.
Great professional wrestler all the way around. He can do it in the ring, and he's entertaining as hell, man.
Oh, yeah, agreed. I think he's another one, and I'll probably sound like a broken record on this for most 901 guys, but that's another one where you're just seeing the tip of the iceberg.
So, look, let's talk about MJ Davis. Now, Kevin has faced off against MJ Davis twice recently. Come out on top both times. Now, no doubt there was some shenanigans going on in some of these matches. We all know that MJ and Big Don Montana, they're set up this Saturday for that big loser leave town match. And these guys have been trying to one-up each other for months. But MJ, man, MJ's another large guy. He's a big guy. MJ is really, really getting himself in shape, man. I was watching him the other day. The chest is popping. The shoulders are popping. I've seen a huge improvement in MJ over the past probably 2 years. What's your thoughts on MJ, man, and Kevin, man, coming out on top twice, man, recently over MJ Davis for that title?
This is another guy, MJ Davis, the real deal, MJ Davis. He is the real deal. That we've got it's a good thing that we have an issue of so many wrestlers in the inbox, because there's a lot of these guys where, not to make it sound sad, because it's a good thing for these guys, but a lot of these fans in the 901 are going to blink and look, and these folks won't be local anymore. MJ Davis is one of them. If you blink, MJ Davis is going to get snatched up by somebody somewhere. It's just a fact. If you know anything about wrestling, you know that's a fact. All he's got to do is keep doing what he's doing.
And MJ is one of the most active guys around our area. MJ, man, MJ wrestles all the time. He wrestles everywhere. And he is a force to be reckoned with, not just around here. Like you said, I'd love to see MJ get a shot in the NWA or Ohio Valley. I think that's the natural progression right now for MJ. I think one of those two.
I think he hits one of those, and he makes major waves for sure.
So look, Joseph Earl's back with us, and he says he would like to see 901 Wrestling go head-to-head with Tiger Pro Wrestling. So that's another company running around Memphis. Talk to me about that, man. Well, you know it is, Tommy. We both know it is.
No, I've never heard of them.
So there ain't no chance of 901 and Tiger Pro going head-to-head.
No, we do a premium professional wrestling show, sir. I don't know what you're talking about.
And there you heard it there, folks. That's just the way it is. The man behind the mask at 901, he says what he says, and that's how you got to take it. So look, let's move on then. Dorian Vane, man. Kevin Blessed is faced off against Dorian Vane. And right now,
Man.
Dorian Vane is one of the hottest guys around our area. Dorian knows I think he sucks, but in all reality, I like messing with Dorian. Dorian, man, Dorian is a big guy. He's got the look, and he carries himself. That's the one thing I think a lot of guys could take from Dorian. Look at Dorian. Anytime you see him, whether he's in his gear or whether he's in his street clothes, Dorian is always decked out to the T, looks 100% professional, and the current EPW champion right now. But so far, 901 Gold has eluded Dorian Vane. So let's talk about that, Tommy.
Yeah, you know, you listed everything about Dorian Vane is true. Looks amazing. Got it in the ring. The issue with Dorian, I feel, is a lot of what we talked about with folks like Braden Toon. They come into the 901 chip on their shoulder. Here's the thing, you might be the best, but if you're worried about giving it to these fans instead of focused on Kevin Bliss or Walker 13, that's going to come up and bite you every time. So I don't think it's a matter of Dorian not having the talent, the know-how, the wherewithal. I don't think it's any of that. I think a lot of it is he's so focused on proving to these fans about what he's saying about them and who he is, that distracts him. I think that's what the major issue. I think focus fixes everything with Dorian Vane. We'll see though what comes in the new year with Dorian, because Dorian's going to be in action on Saturday Morning Live too, I hear.
Well, you know, I agree with that 100%. Dorian does have a tendency to get sidetracked and distracted with the fans for sure. I think, look, here's the thing, man. Me and Dorian, he's been part of the Dirty Dozens thing. So we've been kind of going at it for several months now. And I was kind of on Dorian's ass about some of his work, some things I've seen him do that I thought he could improve on. And I've been keeping my eye on Dorian. And I feel like over the last couple of months, he really took some of those things to heart, because I'm seeing him improve on some of the things that I actually said, hey, I think, man, you could improve on this. And every time I watch him, he's getting smoother and better. And he is a threat. Dorian's a threat to any champion around this area, period, anywhere.
I agree. If you, I mean, just for example, the matchup that he had with Walker 13 at Growlers, you know, every match I think that Dorian I see had, I always say, hey, that's a better Dorian Vane match than the last one, and that's a good thing. And then it just keeps happening. He gave Walker a real run for his money in that match at Growlers. That right there, you can see a lot of how much Dorian Vane has progressed, I feel.
And here's the thing about Dorian, and we're going to move on to Walker 13 since we brought him up, because he's on my list too. But Dorian is not lazy. Dorian is willing to do the work. I may rag on him. I may put posts out about him. I may put some graphics out that are not flattering Dorian, but Dorian is willing to work for what he wants, and he wants to make it in this business. And look, I'm hoping Dorian. Look, here's my whole opinion on Dorian. Dorian's got everything to make it. All he needs is to polish up, and he needs a little more experience. And then I think Dorian's a guy that we're definitely going to see move on to the NWA or Ohio Valley. Maybe even TNA would be a nice fit for Dorian. But
well,
Dorian
he's another one of those guys, Buster. I mean, and that's what, you know, we're really close. We're right on the edge. If you think about it, everybody you've talked about so far, they're just about to jump. All they need is a little bit of this, a little bit of that. They're about to jump. That's what we were talking about to begin with, was we're trying to bring all of this talent through. This is local talent. See them now while you can, because pretty soon it's not going to be the family friendly 901 prices. You're going to have to pay them premium WWE, those premium AEW prices to see that your hometown guys. So let's take a look at these guys while they're here, while they're honing their crafts for you, the 901 fans, because you're going to blink and Dorian Vane's going to be somewhere else. MJ Davis is going to be somewhere else, right? And granted, 901's always going to rotate people in and out. There's always new
Right.
people coming through. But if you've got a favorite, like a Dorian Vane, like a Braden Toon, like a MJ Davis, support those local wrestlers, see them, and see them while you can on this level before, you get TKO'd out of it.
Hey, you said it right there. That's exactly what I was thinking. You talking about premium price. Most people, look, wrestling has always been the common man's sport. It's always been the poor man's theater. No doubt about it. It's always been that way. But, man, TKO is just milking the fans. They're pricing their fan base completely out of being able to go. The only way any of us can go to WWE is or see it's on TV, because you damn sure can't afford to buy a ticket nowadays.
Well, and if you did, you're not really. Here's the thing that I'm trying to let people know is that going to those is great. That's fine, and there's nothing wrong with it. You go to it, have a good time. But do you want to feel part of something? Well, then that's not the thing to go to. You need to find you a local indie show. You need to find you a show that you can support and feel like you're part of, and realize that you are supporting that show, just by going to it. Rights fees are going to take care of the big boys. They're going to be fine. They're going to be okay. But it's really important, when these guys are on our local levels, to support these guys, not by just likes on Facebook, not just by following them, because do that too, but show up and show out for these guys as they're trying to make their way to become superstars. That's super important to do.
That's right. And here's the thing. At this level, every fan is important. TKO,
Absolutely.
all they care about right now is your cash. If you ain't got enough green, your ass is gone. But at this level, man, on the indies, every fan that buys a ticket is important. That's just the way it is. You want to be part of something, go to your local, support your local independent wrestling promotions, your local independent talent. Your support is how these guys become stars. They need support. They need you to buy that ticket. They need you to come buy that picture, buy that T-shirt. Yep. Look, we all know there ain't none of these guys they ain't getting rich on the independent scene. No. So every time you support your favorite wrestler, man, it means the world to these guys, whether they flip you off or not. Trust me, deep down in their hearts, they are so happy that you came and supported and bought their merch or whatever, just to be a part of the show.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, let's say you just showed up and you bought a ticket, which is a lot for a lot of people to do. But, like, let's say that's as much as you could do. Whether you know it or not, as a fan, sometimes you showing up gets that wrestler to the next step mentally.
Right.
Just helps them through their day, helps them through their week, when they're training, when they're beat up. Seeing the reaction on the fans' faces carries them to their next match sometimes. So every last bit of it's important. And that's, that's why we say, for the past over a decade now, 901 Wrestling is hashtag your wrestling show. That's yours, Busters. It's everybody's watching, because everybody watching, everybody liking, everybody showing up buying a ticket has helped create this thing. And I really want everybody to feel connected to it, because they are, whether they know it or not.
That's right, man. Every single fan counts on the indie scene. Look, Greg James is back. He said, I would rather buy a ticket to 901 than a big ticket talent is just way better. Basically, Greg's saying, hey, he'd go to 901 way before he'd go spend the money to go to WWE. And I'm the same way. I'm not going and paying. Look, you can't even give me a free damn ticket to go to WWE or even AEW or anything like that. I'm too old for that shit. I'm not going to sit packed up in like a sardine around a bunch of fans
It just
right
all
on.
depends on what experience you want to have, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you and I, we probably watch it on TV, be just fine.
That's right.
Be just fine. But we also come from a different feeling we get when we were at a old school wrestling show. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't feel like you were there to be lit with the lighting and a backdrop. We were there to feel like we were part of it and to see what happened and to get taken away for a couple of hours. So when we go to something that's not quite that experience, it definitely feels foreign, or at least it does for me. But on the indie scene, especially somewhere like 901 Wrestling, you can feel like you're part of it. You don't feel like you're a backdrop. You feel like you're part of that show. You know, and I think that is where some of that magic I talk about in different interviews I've done and stuff, that's where that's at. You know, that feeling that you're part of something, that feeling that you get transported away for a couple of hours. That's something that they haven't been able to recreate on a big stage, I feel.
Right.
And it really just happens right here on this level.
That's right. I'm with you on that, Tommy. Look, we mentioned his name a while ago, Walker 13, and he popped up. So let's talk about Walker, man. He's the current 18-19 champion, and he's held that belt for several months now. So let's talk about Walker 13 winning that title and defending it ever since he captured that belt, Tommy.
Yeah, no, Walker 13's done an amazing job as 18-19 champion. I know we've said it on here before, but the 18-19 championship, named after the founding year of Memphis, Tennessee, and can only be defended within the 901 area code. But my goodness, has he defended it? He told me once that he really wanted to bring back the thought that the 18-19 title was a workhorse type championship.
Right.
It had that distinction about it before, when Shane Schaffner had it, Kevin Bliss had it, but Walker had felt like it wasn't quite, didn't have that distinction. He wanted to bring that back. Just about every event we've had, Buster, Walker's defended that title. And the only time I believe he hasn't defended it was because we weren't inside the 901 area code. But it's just because it's, it can't be sanctioned. But like a fighting champion, and done a remarkable job. And that's another dude that you talk about over the past year that has just tore things up. I mean, in a good way, just tore them up. And again, I'll sound like a broken record, but every one of these guys, it's just the tip of the iceberg of what you're seeing. And Walker's another one of those guys that you're just seeing. Every one of these guys, you're just seeing like the first sparks of. You're just seeing the first glimpse of. We have yet begun to scratch the surface on most of all these guys that we've talked about tonight, and Walker 13 is just another one. And I've known Walker now in different iterations for close, if not a decade, close to it. And somebody that's super dedicated to this industry.
Right.
Wants nothing more than to help every single place he's at. It don't matter where it's at. It don't matter if it's in another state. Doesn't matter where. It's a guy that'll bend over backwards to help a place out. And you don't have to do anything for him to do that. He just wants to make the business better in any way that he can. And, there's not nearly enough of that going around, but Walker's got a lot of that in him, for sure.
Yeah, for me, man, Walker's one of those guys. He's right there on the cusp. Man, he's right there on the cusp of making that breakthrough, breaking through that glass ceiling, so to speak. And here's the thing I love about Walker 13. All right, you have athletic wrestlers, you have brawlers, but Walker 13 is a highly character-driven performer. He's a highly character-driven wrestler. For me, he's one of these guys that I believe at any time the right person see him, he would fit right in with Bray Wyatt's whole crew. You could bring him in with the Wyatt Six. Man, there's a lot of places that Walker 13 could fit in around the pro wrestling scene on the national scale, on the worldwide scale. And I think it's just a matter of time. I think he's right on the cusp. I think the right person sees Walker. I think big things will happen for him. And I'm going to be honest, the 18-19 championship is my favorite fucking title, Tommy, around this area and the wrestling business because of the backstory. That's what, to me, that's what really helps make a championship. What is this championship about? And what does this championship mean? And 18-19, one of the cool ones around, dude.
Thanks. You know, we talked about it before, Buster, that, you know, we were looking for another title besides the 901 championship. I always, back in the day, liked the idea of the old school Intercontinental Championship and what that meant. Because you always had a dude that if they had that, after they had it, you knew there was big things in store probably, right? But the guy that had it, usually was that workhorse, you know, or at least had a lot of called momentum behind them, right, when they got it. But there's no reason for 901 to be Intercontinental anything. You know, we're here, you know.
That's right.
You know, I don't believe in paying for TV for nobody to watch it. So there's no reason to have a TV championship. People have had YouTube championships, and yeah, we love our YouTube audience, but YouTube championship's been done before.
Right.
I wanted something that meant this city, just like 901. So that's, you know, 18-19 was it.
Yeah, man, I love it. I didn't understand it, and I think it was the Mark, Chris Evans, which we're fixing to talk about him in a few minutes. I had him on, and he's the one that laid out for me what the 18-19 title stood for, and I've been hooked ever since, man. And here's the thing: the Intercontinental title, the U.S. title, don't mean anything anymore to the world title. But back in the day, those were the tester titles. If you made it to those titles, they were giving you a test run to see if they thought you could be the guy and you could carry that main belt. And that's an important thing in the wrestling business. I miss that, Tommy. I think we need to go back. I think that's the thing. There's way too many titles in the wrestling business. Let's get rid of 90% of them, and let's make the few that we have left important.
Well, that's why there's 3 championships at 901. There's the 901 Wrestling Championship. There's no heavyweight distinction. That's what it's, the 901 Wrestling Championship, the 18-19 Championship, and then the Tag Championships. You know, that was good enough for 45 years for everybody else as far as the, you know, so you know, it's good enough for 901 too. So that's, you know, that's where we're at on it. We've got the 3 main titles, and those are the most important thing at any given time. And that's the way it always used to be.
It's the way it should be, in my opinion. That's back when people cared about wrestling. Now nobody. Look, I'll be honest with you. I probably couldn't tell you who any of the WWE World Champions are. Same thing with AEW, man. I couldn't tell you because they're meaningless now. They're absolutely.
Well, this is called the Buster Unmasked show. Well, Buster, if everybody's got a mask,
that's right.
Nobody's got a mask.
That's right. That's right. So
if everybody's got a title, nobody's got one.
That's right. And everybody has titles, man. I mean,
yeah,
it's just ridiculous. Well, you mentioned the 901 tag team titles currently held by the Gentlemen's Club. And we got this new guy, Ashton Pachuki. Did I say that right, Tommy? Pachuki.
You did. Ashton Pachuki. Yes, so Pachuki. Yes.
This guy was brought in by Norman Meglikoff. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't realize how serious Norman's injuries were.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize how serious his injuries were. Norman's got a long road ahead of him to make it back in the ring. But man, he brought this young guy in, and I don't know anything about this man. He is a big guy. He's built good, and he seems to be a badass in the ring, Tommy. Talk to me about that, man.
Well, that's the thing. It kind of got sprung on me too. Folks can go on 901 Wrestling YouTube and check it out. But so Norman had this big car wreck. Somebody plowed into him, and he's hurt, and they're supposed to defend the tag titles. And I'm thinking that we're just, he's obviously not cleared. I mean, I can see him. He comes to the ring. He's got a crutch, and he's all bionic manned up on one side.
Right.
And so I just assume we're gonna have to, forfeit these titles, and there's gonna be a tournament and all this rigmarole. And he said, not so fast. There's a new member of the Gentlemen's Club, and it's, this mountain of a man, Ashton Pachuki, that you're talking about. I didn't know much about him. I do know that he is a Memphis native. That's why he's called the Beale Street Brawler. Besides that, I know that he was trained out of Nashville, and that apparently he filled out an application. When the Gentlemen's Club had applications out on the merch table, I thought it was a joke.
Right.
But apparently not. So he filled out this application.
Paid off for Pachuki.
Yeah, it did, right? Well, so, and I come to find out, though, that Pachuki this whole time, if I'm not mistaken, has been the guy holding the camera for all of these videos you see for the Gentlemen's Club. Now, I've got to confirm that, but I believe that's true. So, I don't know how vetted the application process was, but good Lord, if you look at the guy, he's like it looks like a stack of $1 million. Okay. Right. He's huge as the day is long, and you're right, in the ring, just brutal. I don't know how well him and Roscoe are going to cohabitate, but that's Norman's job to get that, together. But talk about making a debut. You came in, you're the 901, one half of the 901 tag champs. Like, when does that happen?
That's a lot of weight on your shoulders to uphold right there. Oh
yeah. Yeah, and then you've got a couple of dudes in Roscoe and Norman that, they're going to stick you to the fire on that. So,
and hell, I don't know that Norman and Roscoe like each other most of the time, but they seem to make it work, man. I had the Gentlemen's Club on a few months ago, man, and we were talking about Pachuki, and Roscoe wasn't happy about the way he was brought in and what was going on with Norman, but I feel like, man, it's really kind of worked out good for him.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. Sometimes, and I'm sure you've experienced it, Buster. Sometimes when things go bad, they happen for a good reason. So again, like they've always, Norman and Roscoe have always been at each other's throat, but they're tag champions. Norman gets in an accident. Now they have this man mountain that is Ashton Pachuki. So I keep, somehow the Gentlemen's Club keeps falling into a pile and coming out smelling like roses, but it keeps working for them.
Yeah, man, it's like I feel like sometimes I don't want to say it's dumb luck, but with the way they interact with each other, you're wondering how these guys even coexist to stand by each other, much less become tag team champions.
Try interviewing them, Buster. That's the I'm stuck in the middle of all that, pal.
I like Roscoe. Norman, he's a little hard to deal with. There ain't no doubt about that. Norman's rough around the edges. I'll just say that. But man, they make it work somehow. And so, look, Tommy, I want to talk about the Merc, Chris Evans, and Finesse. Talk to me about these two guys, because Finesse is a new guy for 901, right?
Yeah. Finesse debuted a few months back. I don't remember how many months, but I'm super happy to have Finesse around. I think that it not only just overall, but definitely at 901, we're only just getting a glimpse of Finesse right now. I know you and I were talking a little bit before we got on the air. You were like, well, I kind of thought Finesse was a smaller individual, but no. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, pictures are deceiving,
That's
because
right.
if you go back and you watch him versus the Merc Chris Evans, not only is Finesse not backing down, but not a small individual either as far as height or anything goes. Um, just a ton of potential, I think, and got a good following. Don't get me wrong, but I think people have kind of either slept on or overlooked or just didn't know about Finesse yet. I think they're going to, though. Before
Man,
long, they have no choice.
I like him, man. I've only seen him a couple of times, and I had never seen him until 901 Wrestling. Without a doubt, I had no idea who he was, had never seen him at all. But I really like him, and he is. Now, look, he ain't got the meat, the bulk that the Merc has, but he was just as tall as the Merc. And he's, I don't know how old Finesse is. He don't strike me as that he's, I feel like he might still have a lot of,
Younger cat.
I feel
Yeah,
like
younger cat for sure.
I feel like he still got some filling out to do on his frame, man. And I like what he does. He gave Merc a run for his money. And I'm gonna be honest with you about the Merc. If I was rich and was running a wrestling company, the Merc would be one of the guys. If I wanted to create a super roster, the Merc would be one of the first guys I snatched up, because I feel like this guy's got it all. He's got the size. He's got a look. He's got charisma. He can talk. He can get it done in the ring. And Merc's another guy. I feel like the Merc needs to be developed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's one of these guys that the right people need to get a hold to him. I know at 901, and that's one of your specialties. And here's the thing. That's one of the things that drawed me to 901 in the first place. Character development, great storylines, great angles. You guys don't rush nothing. You let it play itself out organically. And I can identify with that. But man, the Merc, man, I feel like this guy's a star just waiting to happen.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree too. There's, again, like literally everybody we've talked about tonight, every single body that we've talked about, and we've only scratched the surface on the 901 roster. But everybody we've talked about is in that category. Some a little closer than others, sure, but definitely the Merc Chris Evans. You know, I expect big things in 2026 from the Merc. Just based off the fact that, I mean, it could even be before that. I don't know, but just based off the fact that he still holds the wild card for a title shot at any title, anytime, and he's already called out Kevin Bliss. We don't know what's going to happen with that, but I think the sky's the limit, like you said. And if you're sleeping on the Merc, probably need to open them eyes.
Right. Look, Dorian's in here. Dorian, I want you to put your fingers in your ears, because I don't want you to hear me say anything good about your ass, man. I've been talking good about you. I'm glad you got in here late and didn't hear none of it, man. But I mean, honestly, and man, Kevin facing off against the Merc, that's another one of these big guys. What is the deal? Do y'all have a hit out on Kevin Bliss? Because it's like y'all keep stacking these giants up against this man, Tommy.
Well, you know, and that's the thing. So, after the Merc won the wild card at the wild card Rumble, he came right out during an interview that I was conducting with the champ Kevin Bliss, and just told Kevin, "Hey, I'm coming for you. I got the wild card. I'm gonna hit you when you least expect it, but I'm coming. I'm gonna go ahead and let you know ahead of time." And if you take a look at the Merc's matches, and you take a look at Kevin's matches, they are like a mirror opposite. If you look at the size of the people that the Merc is facing, it's almost like they're Kevin Bliss size. And if
That's
you
right.
look at the size of the folks that Kevin Bliss is facing, they're Merc or bigger size. I think these two dudes respect each other way more than anybody realizes. I think that both of them are in each other's heads. And I think that's where a lot of this is coming from, because a lot of these matchups, Kevin's requesting. So it's not just us going, oh yeah, that big guy killed Kevin, because we love Kevin as champ. But like, Kevin's requesting a lot of these. The one with Braden Toon, MJ Davis was kind of natural. MJ got that spot, but the rematch, Kevin didn't hesitate. So I think they're in each other's heads. How that's all going to come to a head, I don't know. But I'm going to be having one of the best seats to find out.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see how that thing plays out too, because these guys have a history with each other, and that's definitely playing into the situation. And I'm glad you said that, because I hadn't really thought about that these guys, the matches they're having, really are kind of mirror images of the opposite of each other.
Yeah.
Finesse, now look, he's as tall as the Merc, but the Merc probably actually outweighed him by 50, 70 pounds, maybe, probably.
Yeah.
You know, so I see it there now, man. That's an interesting, that intrigues me a lot. It's like all their matchups are training them to eventually meet up with each other in the center of the ring.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing. We know it's going to happen. We know it's going to happen. It's already been like ordained, because the Merc said he's coming. We don't know when, we don't know how, we don't know what's going to happen. So it's like we're all just waiting for these two cars to hit each other. We just don't know when it's going to happen yet.
It's going to be good when it does, though. I can guarantee everybody that.
You know it.
So look, we're fixing to start winding this thing. We're in the back stretch, but I want to talk about another new talent into 901 wrestling. CT Jordan. I watched a match between him and Don Montana, and CT Jordan is another guy. He's deceptively large. He's a pretty good sized guy. Him and Don Montana had one of the hard-hitting matches I've seen since Kevin Bless and Brandon White, man. I mean, these two guys really went after each other. And CT first jumped on my radar. I first saw him at 100 Wrestling, Jamie J's promotion out of Wynn. And man, I look, I don't know how long this guy has been in the wrestling business, but for me, that was my very first introduction. Unless he went by another name somewhere years ago, I have never heard of this guy, but I noticed immediately, man, he's got experience in that ring. He can get it done. And, man, Don Montana, I mean, Bluff City boss, dude, I mean, you can't say much more than that. Let's talk about CT and Don a few minutes, and then let's get to the main event coming up this Saturday.
Yeah, CT, I probably ran into CT Jordan 8-9 years ago. I don't know if you remember a place called SPWA.
Right, I do.
But way back in the day, I ran into CT, and honestly, we just kind of just lost touch, because he was at this past event, and he goes, man, I'm finally on a 901 show. He goes, it took me a while, and I'm like, how? We just, that was kind of like one of my favorite referees, who I owe an apology for, because I announced him as somebody totally different than what he was. But Alan Lentz, one of the best referees around, he goes, Tommy, why didn't you ever book me before now? I said, I thought I had.
I like Alan, man. Alan's a good referee. Alan's another guy, man. He's willing to do anything that needs to be done for the wrestling business.
But you were talking about CT. At CT, went in there in his debut match, Buster, and tore it up, man. I encourage anybody to go through, either watch the full special episode of Growlers, or I believe the match may have just hit just by itself on YouTube. But way to make a debut, and up against Don Montana, who I don't know, you correct me if I'm wrong, but probably the last 3 years has been one of the top talents at 901 and the area.
Right.
And then really just made a statement. And now Don, of course, pulled it out in the end because it is the Bluff City Boss after all. But that's the way you want to come in. If you're going to come in and try to make a name for yourself and open the eyes and ears of these 901 fans, CT Jordan gave you a good example of how to do that.
Yeah, he definitely did. I didn't know what to expect out of that matchup, but man, look, I'm always impressed with Don Montana. But I was highly impressed with the fight CT put up. These two big guys went tooth and nail, man. And I mean, it was tit for tat through that whole match until the end. There's no doubt about that. And look, Hollywood's with us, and he said CT's actually been around 15 years. So y'all know I was out of the business for a little while, so that's probably why I miss CT. But man, he is.
Hey, I'll give you a little history, Buster. My first ever wrestling match was versus Hollywood.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love Hollywood, man.
I still don't remember pieces of it.
So look, Tommy, y'all got a big show coming up Saturday night. So here's the thing. We can
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning, excuse me. We can do this two ways. Do you have any matches that you want to announce here? Do you want to give us a rundown of the show before we get to the main event, loser leave town match?
Yeah, well, I mean, the main thing that I want everybody to know about Saturday Morning Live is that you're going to be able to see and interact with your 901 stars at Saturday mornings. It's not some, for lack of a better term, filler show or anything. This is your wrestling show. This is a 901 wrestling show, just like anything else, except it's a studio setting in the mornings, just like it's always been done here in the city. So you're going to be able to see the All-American Ken Dang. You're going to see, we talked about him, Dorian Vane in action.
Right.
We're supposed to hear from Prince Adonis and see what's going on with him. You said you saw the thing at Growlers, Buster?
Right.
Prince Adonis attacked 2 referees out of nowhere. We don't know what's going on with that. Also, I hear we're going to have some tag team action. This one hasn't been put out there yet, but I hear the Holler Boys are going to be in action. So staying tuned.
Those guys are another good team. Billy Madden and Cam Madden. Man, Billy. Here's the thing about Billy. Billy has got himself in immaculate shape. Billy's a big guy. Billy's one of these guys that's 6'4" probably. And normally Billy is probably 275 or 80 pounds, but over the past year or so, Billy has really slimmed down, and man, he is like a damn Porsche in the ring now. And Cam, young guy, really just breaking in the business, full of potential and full of talent. That's a hell of a team to come into 901, Tommy.
Yeah, they were super impressive in their debut. The fans really reacted to them. So what better way than to reward the fans than to have the Holler Boys on Saturday Morning Live? I've still got to find out who their opponents are. I believe I heard some rumblings, but I don't want to promise anything yet. Folks are going to have to stay tuned to the 901 social for that to come out in the next day or so, honestly, because we're getting really, really close. But you're also going to be able to see, we talked about him, the hands that were forged in the fires of South Perkins. The true one of one, the 901 wrestling champion, Kevin Bless, will be there. We might find out who is next on that list of opponents that Kevin Bless has. Well, I don't know. We'll find out. You never know what to expect when you have a Kevin Bless on your show, do you, Buster?
Man, you really don't, man. I had him on, I guess it's probably been 7 or 8 months ago now, but I had a blast with Kevin, man. It's the first time me and him had ever spoke. I felt like we had real good chemistry. And the one thing I like about Kevin, man, he's got confidence. I feel like that is a driving force in Kevin Bless, his confidence. I feel like he really believes he is the one of one. There's no doubt about that in his head.
It's easy to believe it. It's easy to believe it when it's true. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, when you are who you say you are, and you're not just putting something on, you are who you say you are. The rest of it comes pretty easy. But we're going to be able to see him on Saturday Morning Live, and then we talked about Walker 13, the 18-19 champion, is actually doing an open challenge, Buster, Saturday morning.
Oh,
for that title.
Hey, I seen the match him and Dorian had, man. I seen how it ended. Man, that could be Dorian's spot. I'm feeling like to step up and maybe finally, if he can wrestle that title away from Walker Hayes, get a taste of 901 gold.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. We'll find out along with everybody else after Walker makes his way to the ring Saturday morning. I'm eager to see who steps up. So I know Dorian will be in action. I know that for a fact. So we'll see. Maybe he's in action twice. We'll see.
Dorian, he likes to insert himself in the most important situations going on. There's no doubt about that. So you never know what you're going to get with Dorian. Kevin Bless, Dorian's a big guy too. It feels like if it does happen, that's just par for the course for Bless, man. It's just more training for the Merc, it looks like.
Right.
And that carries us. Go ahead, Tommy. Go ahead.
No, you're good, pal.
Well, that brings us to the marquee match of the day. The losers leave town. These two guys used to be tag team partners. These two guys has had a rough split, and they have been at each other's throats for months now. And it's all going to come to a head this Saturday morning at 901 Live, Tommy. Loser leave town. And here's the thing. That's a big deal around this area. My first thought is I'm worried for both guys. Whoever loses, where do they go from here, Tommy?
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. We talked about the influx of talent and the inbox is blowing up, and we talked about all that. But that doesn't mean that we want to lose anybody, especially not any individual as talented as an MJ Davis or a Don Montana. Essentially, it's gotten to the point, Buster, to where if these two men are in the same building, you can't have an event. You can't have anything go down without something going down.
Right.
And it's disrupting everything. It's disrupting the show. They've torn up the back of Minglewood and the dressing room areas going at each other. And it's got to stop, and GM Contar was trying to come up with a way to where, hey, we're going to get to, because here's the thing, they're just going to keep on until one of them's gone. We know that. And unfortunately, that's what it's come to. So it's MJ Davis. It's Don Montana. It's loser leaves town. The loser will not be around anymore. You won't see them around Memphis. You won't see them at 901 Wrestling. And I hate it's come to this, but sometimes situations are unavoidable. And, I encourage everybody Saturday morning to come see, because one of these individuals you're not seeing anymore. It doesn't matter who you're pulling for, really. But one of them's gone, and then that's the last you'll see of them. So see them while you can.
And I can say this, whichever guy ends up losing, it's going to be a loss for 901. It's going to be loss for the fans around Memphis. Here's the thing. There's a lot of stipulations in wrestling now. There's all kind of people do. It's like they just make them up as they go. And honestly, at the end of the day, they're overhyped and underdelivered. And here's the thing. I feel like, for me, this loser leave town means something. And I feel like if it means something to me, it definitely means something to the fans of 901 and just professional wrestling in the Memphis area in general. I hate to see either one of these guys go, to be honest with you. But hey, sometimes even 901 ain't big enough for two guys, man. It's just as simple as that, Tommy.
And that's where, and you know, you put it great just then, Buster. That's where it's at. You know, they were tag champions, and I'll go out on a limb, maybe the best tag champs we ever had. Now, you know, there's still a lot of history to be made for the Gentlemen's Club, and who knows what the future holds, right? But as a tag team, Don Montana and MJ Davis, the Top Shotters, were essentially untouchable. They were the closest things that we were going to see around here to something like the daggum Road Warriors. They could have been that for this area. And you know, sometimes good things have to come to an end. I hate it went this route. I feel like this is something to where if we'd have had some talks before it got to this point, and we tried that too, you know, but I feel like it was just too little too late, and this is where we're at. You know, it definitely means something, because it means that one of these men, you're not seeing them no more. They're gone. They're not going to be around anymore.
Well, you got look, both these guys are big guys. Both of them have egos. There ain't no doubt about that. Now, I feel like MJ's ego is probably, I don't know if it's any bigger than Don's, but Don does a real good job of keeping his ego in check and sticking in reality. But I mean, at the end of the day, even brothers have to fight it out sometimes when it reaches that point. Like you said, maybe the best tag team in 901 history. And we're going to find out Saturday morning which one of these guys really was the lead dog during that, Tommy.
Oh, yeah, because this is going to settle it all. You know, right here, you know, Memphis, Tennessee, Saturday morning live, opening bells at 11:30 a.m. It's going to be the only place to be in this city if you really want to experience something and feel something that you can't get anywhere else. And that's going to be right there at 901 Wrestling Saturday Morning Live.
Dude, I feel like if anybody can bring that tradition back like it needs to be, I feel like you're the guy, Tommy. I feel like 901's the place, and I feel like you're the guy. Gotta make it happen, man.
Well, we've got Buster. We've got the team at 901 is the reason that we can do what we do. I get a lot of people pat me on the back for a lot of stuff. It is a true team effort. I truly believe that we have the best crew, not in the area, but on the damn planet. Fight me in the street if you disagree. I don't believe anybody can touch this crew. These guys believe in something that's bigger than themselves. And that's asking a lot of anybody, but much less in an industry that you whoop your own ass in. These guys do it. They do it in just stride.
Right.
That's why we're where we're at. It's the philosophy. It's the mentality. It's the want to. It's the effort of everybody at 901. I just wanted to put that out there.
Well, you know, I'm glad you said that, because here's the thing. Before we get out of here, I got a question for you. We went from out of nowhere, the Black Lodge shutting down, and really at there for that little bit of time, 901 was in limbo. No home, no nothing. What are we going to do? And here's what I want to talk to you about, Tommy. I want your assessment of how 2025 has been for 901 Wrestling up to this point, man.
I would say that if you, right after the start of the new year, we got sucker punched. And then before we went to the ground, we got kicked to the head. Well, okay, cool. We just get the hell up. That's all.
Right.
We have a goal in sight. And here's the thing that anybody who's ever been behind the scenes of a 901 show will tell you. I don't give a damn how big the draw was that night. We ain't done shit yet, Buster. We ain't done anything yet. I'm happy about the shows. Don't get me wrong. I'm not just this miserable prick about it. We have a good event. I congratulate everybody who was part of that. But we hadn't done anything yet. We ain't done anything yet. This wrestling can be a thing in this city that more than just 400 or 500 people go to.
Right.
It can be a thing that the kids talk about Monday morning at school to their friends again. It can be that. It can be this city's sports team away from sports, if you will. So until we've done that, or at least a piece of it, we ain't done shit yet. So when we get knocked down, we just get back up. See, we're used to getting jacked with. We're used to get ridiculed. We're used to things not being in our favor. We started this thing in a barn in Holly Springs. We got dressed over top of cow packs.
Right.
We built that up. We built that up to where we could come to Memphis, and a worldwide pandemic shut us down after our biggest draw. What did we do? Did we give up? Did we call it quits? Well, hell no, man. We ain't done shit yet. We found Black Lodge. We built that thing up until we couldn't fit nobody in it no more. And the building closed. And you said it yourself. Oh God, what's 901 going to do? They're in limbo. I'll tell you what happens. If we're pressed against the wall, we're swinging. If we're pushed down to the ground, we're getting the hell back up. We owe it to more than just us. This is bigger than us. Wrestling helped me as a child really escape a life that was real, at times shitty. It does that not just for me. It does that for everybody. It lets you get away. It lets you see something and not think about the outside world for a minute. That's special.
Right.
That deserves to be around. That deserves to be a thing again. This city deserves it. Look at all this city has gone through. This city deserves something that it can call truly its own, that it don't have to worry about running to Nashville. You know, so until we've done a piece of that, we're just going to keep getting up every time somebody knocks us down. So we get kicked in the face at the start of 2025. We get stomped in June. Now I'm talking to you in December. 2026 is about to be our biggest year ever.
Right. Right.
There's only two speeds: go and go more. There is no stop.
And that's the thing about the wrestling business. This business is designed to kick you in your ass, whether you're a wrestler, whether you're a promoter, does not matter, man. Just when it feels like everything is right there in the palm of your hands, never fails. Someone tries to jerk that rug out from under you, someone or something. I mean, like you said, honestly, it was a blessing in disguise for you guys for Black Lodge closing, because like you said, y'all were at capacity. You were already at the point where, oh shit, we really need to look for a bigger venue, and you cannot ask for no bigger and no better venue than the Minglewood Hall in Memphis, Tennessee. All the history that goes along with that, I just feel like it turned out to be a blessing in disguise for you guys at 901.
Yeah, and I think folks are really going to be impressed with what we do at Saturday Morning Live to make them feel like they're somewhere totally different. Like I said, it's at the front right. Folks are going to, all you have to do is look for the banner. It says Saturday Morning Live Wrestling here. It'll be out there on the rail. It's got its own entrance. And I think folks are really going to be impressed with the fact that it does have a different feel than the premium 901 show in the big room. But that doesn't mean that you're getting anything less. It's just got a different feel to it. I'm super excited to see how the fans react to it because, like I said, we've had a lot of people talk about it and mention it to us about Saturday Morning Live's coming back, and then once the announcement came back, hey, is it weekly? Hey, can we, all of January you're going to be able to come. I would suggest coming to this very first one and come to everyone because that's how we're going to find out if we need to keep this thing going. Because if so, I just told everybody we don't stop. So all you got to do is show us that it's what you want. We're going to make it happen.
And that's the thing. That's a beautiful aspect of it to me. The fans are really going to end up deciding whether Saturday Morning Live becomes a permanent fixture around Memphis, Tennessee, or not. And that goes back to what we were talking about earlier about TKO and the WWE. Here, you're not just a dollar sign. Here, you are important. You mean something to the wrestlers, the promotions, and the wrestling business around this area. Come out, support Saturday Morning Live, support it all through January. Support it bigger than you've ever came out and supported anything since, I don't even know, probably in the past 30 years of wrestling in Memphis. Come out in droves, turn. Here's the thing. I know you hate to do it, but hey, it'd be a great thing to have to turn people away every single Saturday Morning Live. And it's all up to you guys. It's up to the fans. This thing here is going to make or break on you guys' backs. All you got to do is show up, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, if you think for 1 second that we're the only people paying attention to this Saturday Morning Live and what it does, folks, think again. There's a lot of people that have their eyeballs on what this thing does. So show them that it's what you want. And there's a lot of important people that can make it happen. We just got to show them that it's what everybody wants.
That's right. Tommy, I'll be honest with you, man. Y'all never fail to impress me. And I don't feel like I'm gonna get anything less with Saturday Morning Live. I'm feeling like it's gonna be off the charts, man, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this thing plays out over the next month and a half or so.
Well, I appreciate it, Buster. We just like we do with everything else, we're gonna try our heart out. That's what we do with everything.
That's right, man. That's the wrestling business. Levi Chance is with us. LC Crazy, what's up, dude? Jay's back. He said the WWE. Hold on, it moved on me. Damn, where the hell did it go? Oh, the WWE Jets got Wi-Fi. There you go.
I promise you they do. I promise you they do.
Ricky Kennedy's with us, man, the owner and promoter of All Pro Wrestling out of Marianna, Arkansas. What's up, Ricky? Roscoe, man. Roscoe, I appreciate you so much, man. I don't care for your partner, but I love you, dude. Tommy, as always, man, anytime I get to talk to you, I have a blast, man, fully informative. Like I said, when I want real info, when I want the 411, I don't like talking to the tail and the ass of the horse. I want to go straight to the mouth, and you are that guy for 901 Wrestling. I appreciate you so much for coming on, breaking this news, and I'm looking for big things out of Saturday Morning Live.
Buster, I appreciate anytime you have any of us on. I love what you do, man. Keep it up. And, you got 901 behind you.
I appreciate that, man. Tommy, as always, man, you have a great night, my friend.
You too, brother.
All right, y'all. You seen it right there. Tommy Jacks, Mr. 901 himself, this Saturday morning. 901 Live. Be sure you make it out in droves. Come out and support this thing, man. You guys are going to be what makes or breaks this 901 Live thing. Saturday morning, man, that tradition has been around my whole life. And I'll be honest with you, I have so missed it over the past 20 years. I'll be honest with you. There probably really ain't been Saturday morning wrestling since 1997. And the USWA and the last probably year of it wasn't even on Saturday morning no more. They moved it to late night, Saturday night, midnight or something. I don't even remember. But go out and support this, support 901, support independent wrestling in general. It does not matter where. Come out. You are welcome. You are wanted, and you are part of the crew, man. It takes all of us. It don't just take the wrestlers. The wrestlers and promoters cannot make this thing happen without all you fans. Come out, enjoy some great wrestling, support your favorite wrestlers, even support the wrestlers you don't like. All right, y'all, I appreciate everybody who tuned in. I got one more podcast on December 30th, and then January, we're kicking off things in a big way. I got some great podcasts coming up in January. The Dirty Dozens is back in January. Let me say this. Y'all know we were supposed to have a special challenge match this coming Sunday. Not going to happen. Double J's got some serious family issues going on right now. He needs to focus. We're going to get that battle rescheduled, and we're also going to start wrapping up the Dirty Dozens tournament. Be sure you keep your eye out for upcoming posts. Be sure you tune in on December 30th, and everybody have a wonderful holiday. Have a great Christmas. Enjoy your family. Eat some good food, and be safe.
When you hear that Buster H.R. Oh, man, it's about to go down. You feel the tension in the air. Wrestling fans all over the world, get ready for this right here. They're gonna have a field day with this one. You're about to witness Buster Unmasked! Oh, Lord! Oh, Lord! There's no telling what Buster's gonna say today. We just getting started. Just getting started!